Hey friends, in this video, I'm sharing the 10 Audible books that I'm listening to this upcoming year. If you're new to the channel, my name's Alvin, and I usually talk about how to grow your career in project management. But today, I'm excited to share with you what's on my Audible book list. Stick until the very end for a very juicy audiobook that's been on my list. As we get into this, what audiobooks or physical books do you recommend reading? Drop me a comment down below, and I encourage you to share your recommendations with me and our community. So to get started, I'm dividing the audiobooks that I'm listening to into 4 genres. We have science fiction, fantasy, biography, and personal development. To start things off with science fiction, the #1 audiobook that has been on my Audible listening wishlist is called Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I do want to note that this is an exclusive from Audible, so you do have to be using Audible to listen to this version. If you are a fan of the book called The Martian, Project Hail Mary is written by the same exact author, and you're probably going to enjoy this one just as much. This has been on my bucket list for the past year, and I'm finally now going to listen to it. When I was scavenging the internet to find the best audiobooks for me to listen to, Project Hail Mary kept appearing as the #1 by so many people. This is an award-winning narration, #1 on Audible, and a New York Times audio bestseller with superb voice acting by Ray Porter. And if you check it out right here, it has over 179,000 ratings with a score of 4.9 out of 5. It also won Audiobook of the Year award in 2022. So you can't go wrong here. And if you didn't know, this book is also being made into a movie with Ryan Gosling, expected to release in 2026. So if you don't have an account with Audible and this is a book that you want to read or listen to, you can get this audiobook or a different one of your choice for free by signing up to a free Audible trial using my link at audibletrial.com/Alvin the PM. The second science fiction Audible book that I plan to listen to is November 2, 1963 by Stephen King. This one is something that I stumbled upon recently when I was looking for reviews of the best Audible books to listen to, and this happened to make my list. I'm a fan of Stephen King's horror fiction, specifically like It. Forbes magazine even ranks 11/22/1963 as one of the top 10 books written by Stephen King of all time. So what makes this story fun is that it's about a man named Jake Epping, who is a high school teacher who discovers this black magic portal that transports him back in time to 1958, and he's on a mission to prevent the assassination of President John F. Kennedy and to change the world that we know it today. So it sounds very intriguing, right? And like always, Stephen King always delivers with the storytelling and his character development. As we go on to our second genre for fantasy, don't forget to smash that like button if you're enjoying today's video and to show me your support, because it always inspires me to keep creating high quality content. So the first one on my fantasy Audible list is called World War Z. I actually watched this movie earlier this year, and it has Brad Pitt in it, and I binge watched it with my wife earlier in the year, and I also binge watched the series called The Walking Dead. It's pretty good. So if you can't tell, I'm a fan of some of the zombie, horror, apocalyptic kind of stories, and when I found out that it was on Audible, I knew that I had to add it to my list. Just like Project Hail Mary, World War Z won the 2007 Audie Award for multi-voice performance and was nominated for Audiobook of the Year. Since this audiobook is structured as a series of interviews with survivors from all over the world, it gives it a fresh, unique take on the zombie apocalypse. This Audible version includes a full cast of performers including Simon Pegg, Alfred Molina, Martin Scorsese, and Mark Hamill, just to name a few. And they narrate these different characters. Mind-blowing, right? Now, the next audiobook on my list here is called Dungeon Crawler Crawl by Matt Dinniman, which is a lit RPG adventure type book. It's a mixture of fantasy with a sprinkle of humor into it. It follows a guy named Carl who finds himself in a dungeon with monsters and all sorts of craziness as he navigates this adventure. Let me read you a few sentences of what it says in the summary. The apocalypse will be televised. A man, his ex-girlfriend's cat, a sadistic game show unlike anything in the universe, a dungeon crawl where survival depends on killing your prey in the most entertaining way possible. And then it goes, only a few dare venture inside, but once you're in, you can't get out. And what's worse, each level has a time limit. You have but days to find a staircase to the next level down, or it's game over. So from what I've read online, this has been recommended a lot as one of the top audiobooks to listen to if you have Audible. I listened to a sampling preview of it and the voice narration sounds perfect. Chef's kiss. The next fantasy book on my list is the first book from the First Law trilogy called The Blade Itself, written by Joe Abercrombie and narrated by Stephen Pacey. I actually had not heard about this book series until recently, and from what I've read online, all the characters are very complex and the writing is incredibly sharp. I'm getting this audiobook because I want to get immersed into the story and feel really hooked into the depth and the emotions of the characters. And of course, my list of audiobooks for next year would not be complete if I did not include the new Harry Potter audiobooks, which will be released in late 2025. From Audible's press release, they're doing a full cast audio production that will bring these stories to life with immersive audio entertainment, music scores, a dynamic range of character voices, and high-quality sound design.
You'll have a great time at Hogwarts.
You see, I grew up reading the Harry Potter books, and I watched the movies. So the new full cast audio production is something that I'm genuinely excited for. You know, recently I had a very bad sore throat due to the holidays and I had a fever and a really bad sore throat that just wouldn't go away. I was in bed for a week just trying to recover and it was not good. But during that time, I listened to the audiobook of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone narrated by Jim Dale, and it was so freaking good. I love how he uses different voices for each character, especially Professor McGonagall and Hagrid. The next genre of Audible books that I'm excited to listen to is biography. I love listening to the stories of successful people and seeing how they got to where they are. It's inspiring and it gives me a fresh perspective on what it's like to be in their shoes. I always find these small golden nuggets and lessons that I can apply to my own life. Learn from others who have gone before you and stand on the shoulders of giants. That's always been my philosophy ever since I graduated college. So the first biography is Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. As a side note, I actually own the physical hard copy biography book of Steve Jobs, also by Walter Isaacson, and Elon Musk has been on my reading list for quite some time. If you've ever want to dig deeper into the man who created SpaceX and Tesla electric cars, you definitely have to listen or read his book. The next biography is Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Ever since I listened to Arnold's other book on Audible called Be Useful, I knew that I had to listen to this one since it tells his entire autobiography. Arnold's story is actually very inspiring, moving from Australia to Los Angeles at the age of 21, and in 10 years, he became the world's most famous and successful bodybuilder to a millionaire businessman who is an action star and one of the biggest movie icons, including Terminator. Now, my next Audible book that I'll listen to is a memoir, and it's called Becoming by Michelle Obama. And what's really cool about this is that it's actually narrated by Michelle Obama herself. So it's as if you're sitting in a room with her and she's speaking to you one-on-one. I mean, How cool is that? I've always wanted to learn about her experiences and how that shaped her life and how she eventually became the First Lady of the United States of America. Everything from her triumphs and disappointments to how she navigated everything with Barack Obama. I'm genuinely excited for this, and I look forward to listening to her memoir. And the next genre that I always come back to time and time again is for personal development. The one I have on my list is called Essence of Success by Earl Nightingale. It contains a tome of wisdom with how to develop a successful attitude, build your confidence and success in all areas of your life. If you've ever listened to Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor, or even read books by Tony Robbins, Earl Nightingale is one of the OG classics from where it all began. This audiobook is actually narrated by Earl Nightingale himself, so you'll have to get used to his voice. But the best way I can describe it is it's like you're listening to a wise grandpa who has this calming voice, and he's teaching you all of these lessons to help you reach your fullest potential. Oh, and by the way, if you stuck it and made it this far, I have the bonus audiobook that I can't wait to share with you. This is not an Audible, but is actually a fan-made project that I found online. Are you ready for me to reveal it to you? It's the Lord of the Rings trilogy narrated by Phil Dragish. Not by Andy Serkis, but by Phil Dragish. What's different about this audiobook is it includes the music, the sounds, and the voices are so much richer than if you were listening to the original audiobooks.
Book 1: The Fellowship of the Ring.
I highly recommend checking this out, and I'll include a link in the description bar down below for you to check it out. So from my list of Audible books I plan to listen to, which one interests you the most? And is there any audiobook or physical book that you plan to read this upcoming year? Drop me a comment down below. We're all here for each other, and I'd love to hear from you. Now, if you're still trying to figure out if Audible is worth it or not for listening to books, watch this video next, and I'll see you in the next video.